For almost half a century, Voyager 2 traveled farther than any human creation before it. It crossed the sun's breath, escaped the gravity of every known planet, and slipped into the quiet between stars, a lone envoy of our curiosity. It drifted like a silent relic of ambition, a vessel of circuitry wrapped in starlight and dust, moving through a darkness older than life itself. Its voice, thin, fragile, persistent, reached us from beyond the reach of planetary winds. Hazards, particles, plasma tides, cosmic radiation, data we had come to expect. Numbers. Patterns. Steady as a heartbeat. Until one signal broke the rhythm. Not a photo. Not telemetry. Not noise. Something new. A visual pulse, oscillating, layered, coherent, a message no human language could contain. At first, it was indistinguishable from chaos. Like static on a dead channel, like heat shimmering through snow, meaningless to any untrained eye. But when analysts stretched it, stacked it, slowed it across billions of digital frames, the chaos rearranged. Shapes resolved themselves like memories forming. Symmetry emerged. Geometry sharpened. Not a planet. Not a moon. Not a natural body at all. A structure. Smooth, angular, monolithic, hung in absolute darkness like a blade of thought. Unmoving. Unaffected by gravity or orbit. As if it had been waiting for us. Light around it bent unnaturally. Voyager's orientation flickered. Its instruments wavered, not damaged, but interfered with as though something unseen had brushed against it. And then the truth became inescapable. The signal was not an image. It was dimensional compression, a recording of something too large for space, forced into two-dimensional form. The probe crossed the boundary near the heliopause. A region that should have been quiet, empty, cold. Instead, it burned. Plasma surged hotter than anything previously measured. Contained. Directed. Not natural. Not accidental. Like a perimeter. As though something wanted to see out, but not let us through. And Voyager did not merely observe the anomaly. It provoked it. A ripple of energy raced toward the probe, a near contact that vanished a breath before collision. As if the cosmos flinched. Then came the binary stream. At first assumed to be corrupted data, until pattern filters revealed something deeper, fibrous geometries. Organic repetition. Like coral branching in slow motion, or neurons firing under a microscope. Not random. Not mechanical. Alive. Within the rhythm were breaks, clauses, grammar, intention. A language built from mathematics and biology combined. When simulated, the code adapted, as though it were learning as we interpreted it. No warning. No plea. Not even a greeting. A seed. Voyager's trajectory shifted, uncommanded. Its antenna rotated toward a direction with no known stars. A second transmission arrived, a ring of radiance forming around the monolith, expanding with each packet of data. NASA severed the public stream. Archives blanked. But independent telescopes caught echoes, quiet reflections of something ancient awakening. The monolith was responding. Not to the void. But to us. Its reply mirrored the golden record, not as an echo, but as a counterpart. A message meant for the makers. The voice within the signal felt older than language, older than matter, a resonance that stirred instinct as much as intellect. The light ring widened. Space warped like ripples in liquid. Gravity twisted without mass to anchor it. Voyager became both observer and participant, caught in a geometry that behaved like thought. Then time fractured. Signals arrived before sending. Loops answered themselves. The probe returned messages from futures it had not yet reached. Cryptographers who attempted full decoding reported machine crashes, corrupted drives, and hardware failures that spread like infection. Not a virus. A concept. A self-replicating idea carried home through Voyager's pulse. Then sound arrived, a low harmonic frequency, breathing in waves. Listeners described pressure across the chest, as if an unseen gaze pressed through the speakers. Prime numbers spiraled through the audio waveform. Patterns nested within patterns, a lock. A threshold. Not a door with hinges, not a gateway of stone or metal, but a moment, a choice, carved into the silence of the cosmos. Respond, or remain silent forever. Two futures dividing like branches of a tree. The transmissions slowly unraveled after that. The carrier tone continued like a pulse, steady, unwavering, alive, but the information it once carried fragmented into emptiness. Not random static, not corrupted code, but structured absence, as if the signal had folded itself inward and now waited for our reply before revealing the next layer. Something was expecting us to complete the message. Across the world, without press releases or public announcements, telescopes rotated as if pulled by gravity from that direction. Arrays that once hunted pulsars, quasars, neutron stars now faced a patch of sky that contained nothing at all. Nothing visible. Nothing measurable. But something felt. In private observatories, amateur radio operators reported a signal, a lonely, rhythmic tone at 52 Hz, the same mournful frequency carried by the solitary whale whose song no other creature ever answered. A cosmic heartbeat. A cosmic cry. A call, or a beckoning. Voyager was speaking again. But this time, it was not calling into emptiness. It was calling back. Something had replied. Something had listened. Something had learned our frequency and returned it to us. The silence of space, once comforting, once absolute, split open like thin glass under pressure. Silence ended that day. Not because we reached into the unknown, but because the unknown reached toward us. Humanity always assumed discovery would be an act of conquest, that we would be the ones to find, to claim, to name. But discovery did not come from our arrogance or our ambition. It came looking. A leaked fragment from the final decrypted packet, buried in redactions and sealed behind classified access, contained one surviving sentence, the only line not erased by censors or fear. The observer knows our origin. The observer waits. Three meanings, intertwined like spirals of prime numbers. It knows where we come from. It knows what we are. And it expects us, eventually, to cross the threshold. Because the universe is not silent. Not empty. Not blind. It is filled with watchers, with intelligences woven into the dark like threads of gravity. Some ancient. Some curious. Some patient. And one of them has noticed the flicker of our existence. A fragile radio whisper launched by a species barely old enough to stand upright, broadcast across eternity not as dominance, but as hope. For the first time in history, we were seen. Stars no longer feel distant. Night no longer feels safe. Because the quiet between galaxies may hold memory, awareness, intelligence older than suns. If we respond, we may open a door humanity cannot close. If we remain silent, that silence itself becomes an answer. Some believe the monolith waits for dialogue. Others fear that the threshold is not an invitation but a test, to see which species is bold enough to speak to the dark. Either way, the truth stands unshaken, the universe is awake. It is listening. And it knows our name. Humanity has already knocked on the cosmic door. The only question left is whether we dare to step through.